So basically, we are going to be defining, first of all, what a fair value gap is. Now, it's an instance in which there are inefficiencies or imbalances in the market. These imbalances simply suggest that buying and selling is not equal. Now, if you have listened to my podcast, you will have probably heard the lesson on imbalances. And these two things are going to interact with each other. So if you haven't listened to that episode, or you have heard about it but want to learn a little bit more, the theoretical side is really good on Road to Forex podcast. But we're going to be getting deep dive into the practical version here. Now, the way that I am going to be looking at FVGs and how I'm really identifying them are the candlestick structure. Now, what we're going to have is a 3 candlestick sequence. 1, 2, 3, right? And what is going to happen within this sequence are we have a large candle, and then the 2 neighboring candles, both upper and lower, do not fully overlap this large candle here. So let's go over that again just to make sure we know. We usually have a larger candlestick, and then the lower and the upper, whichever way you want to say it around, don't fully overlap this candlestick, which means that somewhere in this vicinity is a fair value gap. You can see I've done it from wick on this upper neighbor to the wick here on this lower. So we're going to have a fair value gap around here. Really easy to see. Now there is one super simple way. Remember, we don't BS here. We just want to make it as easy as possible. If I get indicators on and I go fair value gap, don't pick this top one, do EP. That's editor's pick, right? Fair value gap by Spaceman BTC. What you're going to see is, bam, a fair value gap right here. So that is how we are going to be looking at it. Of course, I can see another one over here. In fact, even this one is going to have a bit of a fair value gap in here. It is a large candlestick that comes up, but this one is also quite large. And look, from this wick to this wick, there's going to be somewhere in this vicinity a fair value gap. Let's go on the replay button and see if I am right on this one here. And as you can see, I've drawn it out perfectly. And there's another one down here. So that is how we are going to be identifying them. Really simple, really easy. So number one, remember, we usually are looking for the larger candles. The largest candlestick, the worse. And you might be thinking, Alex, what are you talking about there? That sounds a little bit strange. Usually larger is the better. Not in this case. We do want to pick out large imbalances here, but we don't want super large candlesticks. These are probably on the higher side. They are really borderline whether they're too big or too small. This one here, which is clearly a large one, much like this one here, one of these ones, good big large one, and then you have a huge candlestick next. So we really don't want that. Good large size candlesticks, that's what we want to be hopping into. These are the ones that are going to provide the best ones because, and this will be tagged in more into the next lesson, when there are huge candlesticks, it can be smart money entering the market, which means there's an order there and the market is going to want to protect that order, or smart money is. So they're not a good area to hop into. Really, you can in certain situations, but they're definitely not good for targets. Maybe you could get away with a few good entries, but realistically, you want to stay away from those areas and just go for large candlesticks. So that's how we're going to identify it. Large candlestick, looking at both neighbors and seeing if there isn't an overlap. That's why we have it here. That's why we have it here. And that's what we looked at on this one right here. Large candlestick. Neighbor overlaps to here, upper one, lower neighbor overlaps to here, and that's why we have this FVG in here. Now stick around for the next one because that's where I'm really going to be going over entries and exits. May even split it up into a few episodes there, maybe even a 3-part, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully you like this, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.